Hello and welcome to this Google Drive video brought to you by Simple Business Solutions, where we make technology work. In this video, we're going to go over the basics of Google Drive, how to access it, how to navigate it, how to create a document, and then just 2 tips that are going to help you find what you're looking for much more easily. So let's get started. How do you get to Drive? How do you access this thing called Google Drive where all the Google documents live? It's pretty easy. As long as you have a Google account, you just type drive.google.com and it will take you there. You may need to log in, but once you do, you're here. And you'll notice that the first thing that comes up for me is My Drive. And that's where Google Drive will always start by default, is in My Drive. And you notice there's just one folder there. Okay, so this folder structure is much like it is on your computer. I have folders and I can go into those folders and there's other files there. I can also browse those files and folders by using the left-hand side. But what's beautiful about Google Drive is that it's not just about what's on my computer, and sometimes, depending on how you have your computer set up, Google Drive files may be on your computer. It's also about the fact that I can share this stuff with other people. So you'll notice if I go to My Drive, I only have one folder. I made this folder. But if I go to Shared With Me, there's some other things that show up. Anything that's been shared directly with me will show up under Shared With Me. Notice that that's different than My Drive, and that's like that for a reason. You need to have control over your organizational system so Google doesn't clutter your list with things that have been shared with you, and it actually allows you to organize them in the way that you see fit. So by going to Shared With Me, you'll get everything that's shared with you. It won't be in your Drive by default. To add it there, you click this button up top with the Google Drive icon. It says Add to My Drive. And it'll give you the undo, of course, and then Organize. By clicking Organize, you can go into exactly where you want to put this file. And that'll file it in your personal organizational system. And it won't change the organizational system for anybody else unless you're working in a shared folder. More on that later. Okay, the other thing about Google Drive is how it decides to show its folders and files. So you'll see here I have 2 folders and 1 file, but when you go to your Google Drive, it might look more like this. This is how Google thinks that you should see folders and files. If you don't like that, you just click this icon up at the top, and it makes this what I think is a much easier to read version where I can sort by the date modified and things like that, rather than looking at this grid. My personal preference is to use this, but that's how you switch. Here at Simple Business Solutions, we replace all of our documents and spreadsheets with Google Drive documents. And we do that because we can share them across the organization and because they're not locally stored on our computer. But that means that we create a lot of stuff. So if I'm working on something and then tomorrow or the next day I say, hey, I need to access that document that I know I accessed yesterday, Google has included this really handy recent feature. I can go in, it'll sort it by today, earlier this week, earlier this month, and then older and never. And I can go through and it'll be a list of files that I've accessed with the most recent at the top, which makes it much, much easier for me to find those things. And actually, for me personally, I start here. I don't even, it'll go to My Drive and then I'll click recent and then scroll down the list. So that's how you'll find things that you're looking for that you've worked on before. You also now know how to access things that have been shared with you, how to add them to your Drive, and how to organize them. The only other thing that I want to touch on is the fact that when you create a new document, it will be created in the folder that's currently shown. So right here, I'm at My Drive, Simple Business Solutions, and Website. If I create a new document here, this new document is going to be created in the shared folder, which means that anybody that has access to that folder can then access that file. So that's the basics. That's how to access Drive, how to navigate Google Drive, how to create a new document, how that works, how you can access your shared files and your recent files. From there, you should have a groundwork to be able to create files as you need and share them out as you need. We're going to cover more advanced sharing tips in the Tech Tips version of this series, so stay tuned. And if you found any value in this video at all, please subscribe to our channel. Till next time, take it easy.